the curriculum that we have. So I'm Dominic Baca. I work here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. I am part of our hub team here with the ECHO program at the Hispano Chamber. I'd like to welcome you. To get started, I'd like to go over a few things before we do introductions. I'll start with an impact statement, an overview of our agenda, some housekeeping items, as well as a brief overview of the model that we have for you today. Give me one moment, so sorry. Perfect. And so as an impact statement for the IECHO program here at the Hispano Chamber, we'd like to inform you that by using this ECHO model, we're creating a space where IT business owners, professionals, and entrepreneurs can connect with experts and with each other to share strategies, tackle real challenges, and grow together. This isn't about one person teaching and everyone else listening. It's about all of us learning together, because the truth is, when one business grows stronger, it strengthens our entire ecosystem. And so today, we'll start with introductions briefly after this, and then we'll go into our didactic presentation that will be given by Mr. Greg Mullen with ABQIT, and then a case presentation presented around the didactic presentation. And then we'll also have closing remarks. Again, we do encourage you to post or submit your call for a case form. And what that means is we'll ask you at the end of the session to submit to us any cases or scenarios in which you have discovered or experienced business challenges so that we can discuss those in relation to future topics. So as a few housekeeping items, please mute your mic if you're not speaking as a courtesy to others. Please keep your camera on if you are able to do so. Use the chat for questions, and be kind and mindful to others. And so briefly, our model here is borrowing from the ECHO model from Project ECHO at UNM. And it really is based on a didactic presentation that will include an IT-related topic, and then it follows with a case discussion where participants will have the ability to discuss as well as ask questions around particular IT topics. And then we'll summarize and wrap up with some key takeaways. And so now we'll go ahead into introductions. Again, I'm Dominic Baca. I'm here with our hub team at the New Mexico Hispano Chamber of Commerce Business ECHO program, and I'll pass it on to Laura.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Chavez-Sharman, and I'm a project manager here at the Hispano Chamber.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Greg Mullen. I'm on the hub team and leading today's didactic. I'm the president at ABQIT.
Good morning. Rocky Cruz, Membership Experience Director here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber and supporting the New Mexico Hispano Chamber of Commerce Business ECHO program.
Yeah, good morning, Mike Eli on the hub team.
Oh, good morning, Danny Martinez. I'm not on the hub team. Free and local business advisor.
Good morning, Mark Fidel. I'm on the hub team, one of the subject matter experts.
Good morning, John Egan with ABQIT here in support of Greg.
Awesome. Thank you, team. So we'll go through the room. If you can briefly introduce yourself with just your name and the organization that you're with. We can start with Roxy.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Roxy, and I'm a program manager with Project ECHO. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxy. Casey?
Hi, my name is Casey. I'm a program specialist at Project ECHO.
Thank you, Casey. Thank you for being here. Elliot?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elliot Padras. I'm a program specialist with Project ECHO.
Thank you, Elliot. Nicole?
Good morning, Nicole Abreu. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Artem Technologies and also on the Executive Committee for the Hispano Chamber. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Nicole. Mireya?
Hi, Mireya Herrera, co-founder of Outcome Engine and also board of the Women in Business program for the Hispano Chamber.
Thank you for being here, Mireya. Paul?
Good morning, Paul Mondragon, past board chair for the Hispano Chamber and president of Bank of America, New Mexico.
Thank you, Paul. Tomas?
Tom Briones, founder of Briones Business Law Consulting, former chair of the board, and the founder and current president of the Paul Mondragon fan club.
Thank you. Ernie?
Likewise, I'm a big fan of all these guys, all my board members that are on. So thank you for joining. Ernie Citabaca, President, CEO of the Hispano Chamber. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ernie. Sandra?
Hey everybody, Sandra Gonzalez. I'm a program manager here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you, Sandra. Andrew?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew DiGregorio. I'm the manager of First Impressions at Leadership New Mexico.
Thank you, Andrew. Saul?
Good morning, everybody. Saul Hernandez. I'm director of our New Mexico programs here at Project Echo. It's good to be here with you.
Nice to see you, Saul. Thank you. Ryan?
Hi, good morning. Ryan Cangelosi with UNM Health Sciences, Director of Economic and Community Development.
Thank you for being here. Valerie?
Hi, good morning. My name is Valerie Jack. I'm an entrepreneur in my startup phase. So I'm happy to be here with a lot of experts and things like that, and a lot of women in technology. So I'm excited. Thanks.
Thank you for being here, Valerie. Nice to see you again. Kuri?
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Kuri Teran. I'm the Director of First Impressions at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also here representing UNM as a student. Thank you.
Thank you, Kuri. And last but definitely not least, Casey?
Hi, everyone. I'm Casey Anglada Durad, and I lead New Space Nexus, and happy to be here. Also, the incoming chair for the Hispano Chamber. Very excited about that.
Thank you, Casey. All right. So we'll go on. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, our subject matter expert who will be giving our didactic presentation, Mr. Greg Mullen. Today's topic will be using and creating custom AI GPTs to solve everyday business problems. And again, by Greg Mullen, ABQIT. I'll pass it on to Greg.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. So as Dominic was outlining at the beginning of the call, Project Echo's all teach, all learn model thrives when new practical tools reach frontline operators. And custom GPTs, what we're going to talk about today, let small business owners automate all kinds of tasks that can be done using a computer. So from creating invoices or writing emails, drafting contracts, anything that your employees or you do with a computer, a lot of it might be automated with custom GPTs. A lot of people don't know where to start. So this conversation is hopefully going to give you a friction-free on-ramp to learn how to use these amazing new tools. Let me go ahead and get started here by sharing my screen. All right. So what you're looking at right now is my Chat GPT. Okay. I use Chat GPT every day. I'm sure a lot of you at this point now use Chat GPT to some degree. And many of you might just use the basic functionality within Chat GPT, which is just chatting the chatbot. I'm going to switch over here to this login, which is a non-paid account. This is a regular Chat GPT. So many of you might just come over here and kind of, see the chat window, and then you go over here and then you start asking, questions to Chat GPT. And many times it gives you really great answers. But what I want to talk about today is custom GPTs. So over here on the left-hand side, we have this custom GPTs. And if you just click Explore, it takes you over here into the GPT store. So you can think of this a lot like an app store on your smartphone, where there's a lot of different GPTs that are custom trained by basically the public, the crowd, any users of ChatGPT. So this custom GPT store has some basic categories here. You could see at the top where it has top picks, writing, productivity, research and analysis, education, lifestyle, Dolly, and programming. And so you can kind of scroll down here, and it's got a trending category here that tells you some of the most popular GPTs. Again, every single GPT that you're seeing in here is created by the community. Here's some of them that are actually created by the ChatGPT team. These ones here are specifically created, by ChatGPT, but most of the ones in here are created by community users. And what we're looking at, what a custom GPT is, it's an AI like the one you're normally used to interacting with, but it's an AI that's been given specialized knowledge or tools depending on the use case for it. So just to kind of give you an example, and there's thousands of GPTs in here. We're just going to search for a basic one that you might want to get familiar with. Let's say you're a business owner that uses QuickBooks, and you have some questions specific to QuickBooks. And so you could search in here for QuickBooks, and you can see the little wheels turning there. That means it's looking through, and it's going to pull up all the custom GPTs that the community has made here that are specific to QuickBooks. So what this means is someone in the community has made this custom GPT, and they've given it specialized, very specific knowledge about QuickBooks. Now we see the menu here. There's a lot to choose from. So I want to just go over really quick how you might pick one that might be best for your use cases. One of the first things you could see right here is this number is how many times this has been used in the community so far. So this one here has over 25,000 chats already logged in it. This other one here, significantly less, has 1,000. This one has 1,000. Here's one that's sort of related. So Odoo is a QuickBooks competitor, so they kind of put that in there. It has 25,000. Here's one with only 400 searches. So let's just go ahead and pick the one that has the top amount of searches. So it's had 25,000 conversations. It'll pull this up here. It'll tell us the ratings right now. So you'll have the ability to give these a rating. It'll tell you a little bit more about it. So this is a chatbot, can answer your QuickBooks Online questions, and it tells you who created it, Hector Garcia, CPA. It's got 4.5 out of 5 ratings. There's over 300 ratings from the community right now, and it's in the productivity category. And then it tells you a little bit about what its capabilities are right now. So it has a tool of being able to search the web. And then it gives you, most of the ratings here are 5-star. So this looks like it's a pretty good. There's a few 4s, some 3s, 2s, and 1s. And then you would go ahead and click Start Chat. And then you can see there's a couple conversation starters here. How do I enter a bounce check? That might be a common query that people have using QuickBooks Online. You can just click that to get started, and might get an error here. Oh, okay. So I'm on my free account. If we go over here to, and so if you're on a free account, you may have some limited amounts of queries that you can do, but it's actually, there's quite a bit of chats you can do within a free account. We're going to go right back in here and find this on this one. Click Start. Click that again. And so I've been testing it on my free account, and that's why I ran up against the limit there. But if you haven't used this before, you're going to have quite a bit of conversations before you bump into that limit. And then we'll go over pricing here in just a minute. So right now it is doing some thinking, just while it's coming up with its answer, I want you to see that you can click up here and you can actually change the model. So if you have some different, if you have a paid account, you can use some of these like the Pro and that kind of thing. If you don't, it'll give you just limited options there. But as you can see, it went over here, it looked through its information, and it's coming back with this specialized answer. So again, you just go over to Explore. You can search through here. There's all kinds of specialized GPTs that, again, have very bespoke knowledge in here that are going to be great for your business, whether it's marketing or research or whatever it is that you're looking for. I encourage you, if you're not getting the results you want out of a normal chat session, come to the custom GPT store, search for the GPT that might be more directed to your use case. But what if you have very specific use case that's not in here, or you want to make your own custom GPT? Everybody has the capability here. If you have the basic paid account, which is $20 a month, to come in here and create your own custom GPT. So we're going to go in here right now, and I'm going to just kind of show you how to do that. There's two basic ways to create a custom GPT where you can actually give AI the knowledge that you want it to have. So when you search through it or ask it questions, it'll have those answers for you directly. So when I click create, it takes me to this page here. I'm going to go over real quick the two basic ways that you can create custom GPTs. So the first one here is if you just toggle this over to create on the left-hand side, you can actually create a GPT just by chatting with this interface here. So you can tell it, that you want to create a custom GPT, say, about your business. For my business, I've made one that I call like a CFO, so a chief financial officer. And so I can come in here and I can start chatting with it that, I want to create a custom GPT that acts like a chief financial officer for my business and gives me financial direction and advice like a CFO should. You can be very basic here and just conversationally get started by telling it exactly what you're looking for when it comes to creating a custom GPT. Then at any point, or from the very beginning, you can go over here to this configure side. Now, this configure side allows you to just go ahead and start filling this out directly. So I could type like ABQ IT CFO, for example. Then you could write just a quick description about what it does. This is the instructions area where you're going to tell this AI how does it behave, what its purpose is, and what it should avoid doing. You can give it specialized instructions, or what we might call a system prompt. And so doesn't need to be very long, but depending on what you're doing, it could also be quite lengthy, where you give it instructions. It might be to follow a formula. It might be, you want it to ask the user a certain amount of questions first before it delivers an answer. So you can put all kinds of different instructions in here that this GPT might need to follow when it's having a conversation with a user. Here's the option for conversation starters. As we saw with the bounce check question for the QuickBooks GPT, you can put different conversation starters in here, which might help users that are interacting with this GPT to go ahead and just get started by clicking a conversation starter. So, one conversation starter for a CFO might be, how's our balance sheet? Looking, right? And so that might be a conversation starter that we'd put in here. Now, this next area here is where the GPT is going to get its knowledge. So you have the ability here to click upload files. And as you can see here, I could click and upload any type of file that I want this GPT to have access to, whether it's a PDF or a Word document or an Excel file, or just a text file, .txt, whatever it may be that you want this GPT to have in its knowledge base. Any files that you upload in here, it's going to be able to search through and look at those files and give you answers. So let's say you have a big Excel spreadsheet that you want to be able to chat with. You could load that in here, and then you could essentially talk to your data. This is a way for you to put in whatever type of business data or information that you want, and you're going to be able to talk to your data. So if you have, let's say, some contracts that you want some advice on, and you're not sure if you can cancel this agreement or something like that, right? You can upload some of these in here. If you have two different contracts you want to compare, you could put them both in there and then talk to your data. So it's a really cool way for you to put in your own files and be able to talk to them and get answers from. So for a CFO, I might run reports from my QuickBooks and load up this file repository with my reports. So it's got the data that it needs to give me the answers that I want.
Great.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I think we have a question from Ernie here.
Okay. Looks like
Ernie, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Well, no, I'm just, it's not necessarily a question, but I thought if we were trying to do examples of how you use Chat GPT and you're doing that, I thought since it's our 50th, let's ask Chat GPT to give a history of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. So it's just self-serving. That's it. We can do that.
There's a great chance that it probably already knows that, but if it didn't, we could be making a custom GPT here and uploading that knowledge so it's got the knowledge it needs to answer that specific question, right?
So the reason,
in here, go ahead.
Well, the reason I was kind of asking that, one time I saw Sanjay Arroyo when he did something, he decided to look up Project Echo on Chat GPT, and in like 2 minutes he said he had the amazing history of Chat GPT. That's the reason.
Yeah, and Chat GPT is really great at pulling information that's out there on the public internet today. Where we're at right now with these custom GPTs is, for example, these files that you have. If you're looking at specific contracts or reports from your QuickBooks, that information is not going to be out there in the public. It's not going to be available on the web. ChatGPT is not going to be able to find it. So you need to be able to get it that data. This is one way where you can upload your own information to the AI and be able to talk to your data. So that was the upload file section. We also have the recommended model. If you want, you can, just get it started with any one of these models. Of course, GPT-5 is the latest. Or you can just allow users to select the model that they want. And then here's the capabilities section that we have here. So under capabilities, what we have is the ability that you could give this AI to search the web. So if it doesn't have the information, but it is available out on the web, it's going to be able to do a web search if you enable this. Canvas is a tool where it can write really long documents, often used for writing code, but could be used for anything else. Let's say you have a really long marketing plan or something like that. You're going to want this specific GPT to make. You're going to want to enable Canvas. Image generation is obviously to generate images. And then code interpreter and data analysis is really if you're building a custom GPT here that's going to need to know how to work with code, you're going to want to enable that. This next tool here is create actions. Now, this is going to be a little bit more advanced. Most of the GPTs, in fact, all but just a few that I've made don't even use this actions feature. But let's say that you want to connect your custom GPT directly to your QuickBooks. So you don't have to pull the reports and upload the files. You want some sort of external database to connect into your GPT. This is where you'd be able to do that. And so you can set it up with API keys or OAuth as its connection. And then the schema here would be basically how it uses that database. So different API calls will be loaded in here. If you wanted help with this, it's interesting. There's a actions GPT because this is an action. We're adding an action here. Well, OpenAI actually made their own custom GPT called Actions GPT to help you with that part of creating a custom GPT. So if you did want to experiment with some of these advanced actions, you could do that. And if you need help with it, you can use OpenAI's custom GPT they made for that. So let's say that we've got everything in here that we want to create our custom GPT. And I'm just going to fill this out really briefly. So we go to the next step. What you would do here, you can use this little preview window to chat with it and test it out. And then the next part that you're going to want to do is go ahead and just click the create button. And here's where it's going to give you some options that you need to be really aware of, especially if you're making a GPT that has personal data in there that you don't want getting out there, like maybe your QuickBooks reports, right? So you could make this custom GPT for only you. So if I only wanted it for me, then I would click this only me right there. And then I would be the only one, my ChatGPT login would be the only one that would have access to this GPT. So you can make custom GPTs just for you. If you have a team account, you would have an option here to be able to share it with your team. And then another option here is anyone with the link. So if you wanted to be able to create a link and send that link to somebody so they could use the custom GPT that you're creating, then you have that option right here. And then if you did want to publish to the GPT store, then you would click this GPT store option here. You would select the category that you want it to go to, and then you would hit save, and your GPT would be available for you, anyone with the link, or the GPT store, just kind of depending on what you selected there. So that's how you create your own custom GPT. We went over here how you can use other custom GPTs that have been created in the App Store or in the GPT Store. And then kind of over here, I just wanted to go over pricing, just so you guys can take a look at what it looks like. Again, there is the free tier that many of you might be using already. You do get access to the most recent model. You do get access to GPTs, custom GPTs. You just can't create your own. In order to do that, if you're on the personal plan, it's $20 a month. Again, I have no affiliation with OpenAI or ChatGPT. I'm just going over the pricing for your knowledge here. But for $20 a month, you'd be able to create your own custom GPTs. You can see right there. And then, of course, the very expensive $200 a month option is for Pro, if you really need to access the Pro capabilities within custom GPT. And then there is business options as well, which is the $25 a month plan, which allows you to share your GPT within your internal team. So with that, I want to share with you a use case that ABQIT implemented using custom GPTs. So this is our case presentation form, and really briefly here to outline the use case. So ABQIT is a division of Albuquerque Computer and Electronics Recycling Company. And we saw an RFP come out from APS, the state's largest school district, to do all of their electronics recycling for the district. So everything from the students and the administrators. As you can imagine, being the largest district, it's quite a bit of material for us, and it was a great opportunity for our business. Now, traditionally responding to RFPs is very time consuming, and we thought that we might be able to build some custom GPTs to help us write our proposal response to their RFP. And so what we ended up coming up with is, let me just go ahead and go full screen here. So we built some custom GPTs to help us respond to this RFP. So as I mentioned, responding to RFPs in the past had been extremely time consuming. They give you a deadline, and it's usually barely enough time to get your proposal response out to them. So again, we thought that building some custom GPTs might help us alleviate some of this time pressure and build a really good response. In addition to the pressure of time when it comes to writing a proposal, it's also a resource strain. I have to take the top subject matter experts within the company, and we all have to collaborate on building out this proposal response. So they have to take time away from their normal duties within the business to direct it towards building this proposal response. And then it's also very complex. They have very strict requirements when it comes to formatting and the way you have to write your response in order to meet their requirements to be competitive. And so what we ended up doing was building out 2 different custom GPTs. Well, actually, we built one custom GPT, and then we went to the GPT store and we found the other one. So the first thing I did was I went to the GPT store, like I showed you guys earlier, and I searched for RFP GPTs. And I found a good RFP GPT that was an expert in everything to do with RFPs. It had a knowledge base that someone in the community had created that was all around RFPs, how to write them, how to respond to them. It was an expert AI on RFPs. The next thing we did was we took and created our own custom GPT that was going to be an expert on our business, Albuquerque Computer and Electronics Recycling Company, or ACER, as referred to here. And so the way we created that was by giving it those file uploads as its knowledge base. And some of the files that we put in there to create our own custom GPT were previous proposal responses, all of our marketing information that we had saved and was on our website. And then we had some of our subject matter experts just talk into a transcription app and take a big, long transcription of their stream of thought, consciousness of, everything they could think of about the business, their role there, what they do, why would be a good fit overall. And they could just talk into a microphone, have that transcribed into a big, long text document, and then we'd upload that entire text document into that custom GPT. So there we had 2 custom GPTs ready to help us write our proposal response. The first thing we did is give both of those GPTs the RFP request from APS. And then we went to the ACER GPT and we asked it to write a proposal response for each section of the RFP. And so that AI went and generated that proposal response for each section. Then we gave that proposal response to the RFP expert GPT and asked it to critique the draft response for the RFP. And it wrote a big, long critique of each section. And then we took those critiques and we went back to the ACER expert GPT and we told it, here's a critique of your first draft. Please implement, this critique and write a second draft. And so we iterated back and forth between these 2 custom GPTs about 2 or 3 times, depending on the section, until we had a completed proposal. Okay. And so one of the first things we noticed is that we were done with our proposal 2 weeks, a full 2 weeks before the deadline, which had never happened before. And at first I was a little concerned that maybe with that much extra time, we didn't produce, that good of an output, even though we used these great AI tools. But what I did was we took a few days and removed ourselves from the RFP, went back to our regular work schedule, and we sort of decompressed from the whole RFP process. And we used that time and then came back with fresh eyes again, reread everything, and we were really excited to see that we believed we had a great RFP response. So we finished 2 weeks early. We used some of that time just to get away from it and then think about it again and come back in there and reread it. And then we ended up turning in our proposal. And we turned it in without any compressed deadlines or worrying about the deadline. And we ended up winning that from APS. So we were awarded the contract. And then when we went in to meet with the procurement team to talk about the steps of actually fulfilling the services, they commented to us how phenomenal we did on our proposal response. I don't think at the time they had any idea that we were using AI because it was still a little bit earlier. AI was just starting to come out. And as a matter of fact, we used this process when ChatGPT was on version 3.5. Now it's on version 5, so it writes a lot better. It's a lot better at what it does. But that just shows you how powerful it was even when in its earlier iterations. And I don't think our competitors used AI to write their responses, But going forward, as AI is getting more and more out there, I think there's going to be a lot of people looking to use AI to respond to proposals. But I'm not sure even yet that they're going to be doing things like custom GPTs or custom AIs to write their proposal response. Before we got the idea to use custom GPTs, we did just go into the AI and kind of try to get it to write some proposals for us, and it wasn't very good at all. Really, I think the magic for us was using these custom AIs, two of them together, to iterate back and forth and one critiquing the other, to come up with a proposal response that for us was, a winning proposal and beat our competitors. So I think that's where the edge was for us. And, that concludes the didactic and the case study. So I'd love to hear from you all. If you're using custom GPTs today, what's your favorite custom GPT or one that you go to a lot if you are, and any questions that anyone has?
I can start. Hi, thank you for that presentation. It was great. So we tend to create our own chat GPT, but we've used it a lot for proposals, marketing, but I haven't used it as the cross, so I'm very interested in doing that. But I do want to note that you did use both, but what really made that proposal, that RFP response, you gave it that quality because of the knowledge and expertise in your industry and within your company. So it's not a lot. I feel yesterday I had a conversation with another business owner, and they felt that they were competing with all of these AI tools, and they said it's no longer fair. And I'm like, well, at the same time, I agree, but if you don't know how to use it, then that's where that's the advantage. And again, it goes back to showing the value of your expertise as that industry driver. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, and that's a great point. I think businesses right now that aren't really armed with the possibilities that AI can bring to their business are at a disadvantage. And that's a big reason why we're here right now, is to help arm these businesses with the tools that are available to help them compete.
I do have a question, Greg. As far as when you were thinking about how you wanted to ensure your information was secure, what was the process that led you to creating your GPT, your custom GPT that knew all the information about your business, and kind of how did the idea come about to relate it to an additional GPT that wasn't necessarily yours, but it was also custom?
Yeah, so great question, Dominic. Thank you for that. When it came to creating the custom GPT that was very knowledgeable on our business, we did give it some proprietary information that we might not want everybody to know out there, including some pricing and things like that had to go into the proposal so it could help us formulate that part of it. One of the things that we made sure to do when we were creating that GPT was make it only available internally. As I showed earlier, you can put a GPT available with a link, but you need to be really careful if you're going to do that. Even though it won't be searchable in the GPT store, if a link exists for it, there's all kinds of automated crawling services, like Google goes out there and it tries to index every available website, right? And so your AI might get indexed by a search engine. Someone maybe just be able to come across it. So you don't want to make that link open to the internet, so to speak. So you really want to be sure and make sure that you're just selecting that AI for internal use only. So only you or your team can be able to access it. And the idea of getting two AIs to work together to come up with a better product, I'm not really sure where we got that idea. I think it was just occurred to us that, we have these specialized AIs, and one's very specialized. We could make one very specialized in our business, but having another one critique its responses that was very specialized in RFPs, I think we just thought might produce a better output, right? A better response. And when we noticed that it would write the first draft seemed pretty good. But when you gave that draft to the RFP specialized GPT, it had a lot of ideas and critiques of ways of making it better. And I think it really helped us fine tune the response to meet the requirements of the RFP. So we were able to take those critiques and give it back to the other specialized GPT where it would implement those critiques really well. And so that I'm not sure where the idea came of. I don't remember how we thought of it, but glad we did because it worked out really good for us. And since then, we've found that, if you have these two specialized AIs and you're working in an area where they might benefit working together, you could get them to collaborate and critique each other, so to speak.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Just a bit of a follow-up to that question. When you were going through the platform, you itemized the actions GPT, one of the options, only me. Is that as local on your computer, and that's how you retain the security?
No, the actions section of the GPT is if you need to connect your GPT to any outside data source. So, anything that has like what we call an API. And so there's lots of different software as a service that might have an API. So let's say you use Salesforce within your business and you want that custom GPT to be able to interact with your Salesforce. Then you can enable through the actions section of that GPT, you could give it the ability to connect right into your Salesforce. Instead of having to upload files as a data source to it, you could give it the capability to connect directly with your Salesforce, and then it would be able to interact and search your Salesforce, and essentially you can talk to your Salesforce through that AI.
Let me be asked then, the only me is that, how do you retain the security on your computer as a local? Or
yeah, the best way to retain the security part of it is to make sure that you're selecting the only me. So when you click create for that chat GPT, it's going to give you an option of if you want that GPT to only be available for you or only be available through a link so you could share it with somebody else. Right. Or you could publish it to the GPT store where it's fully searchable and anybody could use that GPT. Now, one great use case of publishing a GPT to the GPT store. Let's say I'm an expert with specialized knowledge. Let's say I'm a business attorney and I've got some specialized knowledge and I know that there's some common questions out there that people are going to ask, right? And they might be going to the GPT store and looking for a specialized New Mexico business attorney to ask it basic questions. I could put in some knowledge that people might be asking specific to business in New Mexico. And I could put that in there, and then I could tell the GPT every third question, remind them of my law firm, and give them this link to schedule an appointment or make a call. So you can actually use custom GPTs to market your business as well. If we saw some of those had 25,000 chats, and so if there's people out there searching for these common things, you can have an opportunity here to publish a GPT to the GPT store that's useful. Then you could tell that GPT every third conversation point, mention my business and give it a link. And it's a great marketing tool for your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, I think this is very fruitful. Do we have any additional questions or comments? Maybe some additional experiences from any of our participants here with ChatGPT and maybe how it served you in your business development or technological business landscape.
I just want to
Yeah,
mention
go
Greg.
ahead.
Thanks for the presentation.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead. Online first.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, before we move on. So Greg, you did mention uploading the documents, and as long as the link isn't shareable, for those external custom chat GPTs, like it is important to know, like you shouldn't, it is learning from you if you have a free account. So just be careful with what you are uploading because you don't want to add anything that's confidential. So if you are using it for cross-checking and you are working on the RFP, like examples like that, like I would definitely think about using the paid version.
Yeah, because that's a great point. Thank you. There's an option there that you can click and ask it not to train on your data. So you can select that option and then the AI won't ever get your data to even train on according to their terms of service.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mireya. If you'll go ahead and ask your question.
Sure thing. Greg, because we had the advantage of seeing your information about 2 weeks ago, right? I went ahead and used the application that you're describing to create a chat GPT or GPT specific to managing my own business's workflow. And so now I'm simply in the process of populating it with data about my clients. Again, keeping it to me only, right? So, but it's really effective, right? Taking a little bit of time up front to get it right will save a lot of time on the back end in terms of helping me manage projects, deadlines, and things like that. So it's really quite easy and it's quite useful. One of the attendees, Tom Briones, he asked a question that I think is relevant to you as well.
Yeah, Tom, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question verbally?
Yeah, so the two areas that I've been kind of monkeying around with AI, and I use that term because that's how I feel, is trying to improve our workflow systems here. Often I feel like we're more like cobblers rather than, being able to use, in other words, we're too custom on how we do things, and we don't have people following the systems as much as they should. And then because we usually use Microsoft products, Outlook, Word, Excel, things like that, trying to be able to use, integrate, or create things that you can use with those products. I don't know if that makes sense. I know that's pretty high level, and I can give specific examples, but that's just in general.
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, when I'm going to do the next, when it's my turn to host the next didactic, so we're rotating between the subject matter experts. There's 3 of us. So after this echo session, there'll be Mark and Mike, and then me again. And I'll probably have John here step in for me to do the didactic, but we're building the outline today, but it's going to be on specifically enabling AI within your Microsoft environment, because Microsoft is just furiously building out capabilities within Microsoft. It seems like every week they're turning on a new feature and capability. And John here has basically been deep diving in this for the past 60 to 90 days or so. And so we're going to have a lot to say on that. And Tom, if at any time you want us to come in there and talk to you about it with your business, we're more than happy to do so, because there's quite a bit of features and possibilities that you can do with it using AI that never leaves your Microsoft ecosystem.
I would be interested in that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your questions. Do we have any closing questions at all? Any last minute questions before we go ahead and close out our session? Don't see any. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining. And thank you, Greg. I think this is very fruitful. Yes, yes.
I think someone had their hand up. I'm not sure. Was it Robert? I don't know if I.
Yeah,
Robert,
I was
did you
trying
have
to
a
find
question?
the option. Thank you for on here if there's a wave reaction or something. Thank you. But I just want to say thank you. This was actually pretty informative. I'm sorry I missed the first part of it. My experience with Best Buy and watching technology grow, this is probably one of the most exciting things I've seen for the entrepreneur, because these iterations for them to be able to build their own apps off of this is so crucial for the small business. Everyone back then was like, there's an app for that. And, you know, it was the thing you needed for your business. The fact that these things you're saving yourself a whole salary with a programmer, I think is phenomenal. So thank you for hosting this. I look forward to meeting up with y'all more and seeing how we can expand this, because this is something that I think is going to be very, very helpful for Albuquerque.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Likewise, I think the same. It's very fruitful. Yeah, so I guess we can begin closing out by we do encourage you to fill out our feedback form. So that is posted here in the chat. We really do appreciate that feedback, but also it does help us continue to give quality curriculums as well as didactic presentations and build on future sessions. So thank you for that. And then to announce the next session's topic, as well as guest speaker and the name of the session, that will be with Mike Eli. And so that session will be held on October 21st, 2025. Again, our sessions, as a friendly reminder, are held on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. So if you'd like to put that in your calendar, it will be on the first and third Tuesday of each month at this same time. Our next session on the 21st is titled Map Before You Go. And we really look forward to that presentation with Mike Eli. Last but definitely not least, we do want to ask for case presentations. And so that link is also in the chat. You can find that case presentation, download it, and then submit it to us at hispanochamberecho@gmail.com. Again, it could be around any technological challenge you are having, but looking forward to Map Before You Go by Mike. I believe he'll be talking a bit about strategic planning and implementation of different technologies. So if you have any cases, we do encourage you to submit those. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to us at hispanochamberecho@gmail.com. Thank you all so much for joining today, and we look forward to seeing you on the 21st.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.